Why do you like this place?
Okay, I love this place because you have this wonderful fairyland back here, and then you have this power plant.
Is it a power plant? It smells
I
like
actually don't
shit.
know.
I feel like it's a sewage plant. It's certainly the dichotomy between the two neighborhoods is certainly cool.
It reminds me of Monsters, Inc., but only just because that's the only film I know with like a power plant in it.
It was a great movie, unlike Monsters University.
Can I tell you my review of Monsters University?
Oh my God, Mike Cheslick and I were just panning it in the office the other day.
Okay, my review of Monsters University is it's like seeing an old friend who you have nothing in common
Who died?
with anymore.
That is a good analogy.
Who died, though, would be...
Or to be a
That would
little
just
more
be scary.
melodramatic.
East 9th Street and 2nd Avenue, the northwest corner. When I first came over into the East Village in the late 60s, it was a place called the Orchidea Restaurant. It was a Hungarian-Italian restaurant, and the booths were really tight and together, and it was really, you had to squeeze in. So you usually come over with 5, 6 people after a film shoot. Because graduate film school was down here, we would go to Orchidea. And it had vines hanging. It was a really dark, funky, dusty place. It's now a Starbucks. Across the street going south is a bank, which again, when I moved here, was a mom and pop stationery store where you could buy twine and pens and pencils and pads. And the pads were actually handmade. And they would be open all the time. So, 10 o'clock at night, you're dying, oh, I ran out of writing material, I have to run. So you go over there and get your stuff. And the stuff was kind of laid out in a haphazard way. Again, the same thing happened to them that happened to the Orchidea. The lease went up, it was more than they could afford, so they just had to close up shop. So you go down to the corner, there used to be a movie theater. They used to have great midnight shows there, weird and strange movies. Movie theaters always have these exits that are very deep. When this was a neighborhood where there were a lot of homeless, those big, deep exits would be a great place for people to sleep at night. So one day, I'm taking my daughter over to the Children's Aid Society where she had her pre-K, and I'm walking past this place and I see that there's a guy sleeping in the doorway. And then I realized that there's somebody sleeping with him, and his legs are in one direction and her legs are between his legs in the other direction. They were enjoying themselves, shall we say, a little early morning wake-up call. And I'm trying to get my kid to school. It's like, welcome to the neighborhood. But that kind of thing happened a lot. On our block, there's a church, and it has a very steep stoop. And it used to be hollow underneath. And this is a guy who used to live under there. And he had a lever at some point, and they used to use the front of our house as their living room, and they would have their fights. You were fucking my best friend, you son of a bitch, I'm gonna kill you, what are you doing? She told me. So, she's lying. And they were screaming at the top of their lungs in the middle of the night. And finally, the church bricked up the hollow, so they didn't have it as a bedroom anymore. And so we assumed they broke up, because the fights were really nasty. And then he disappeared. We don't know what happened to him. My assumption is that he died. The tone of the place has changed. It's not quite an old New York City neighborhood anymore. I've been living here since 1982, but I've been coming to the Village since '68. When we moved in, this was not a neighborhood I'd like to come to. A lot of drugs, pretty nasty place. But also there was some incredible music going on here. We found a great apartment just around the corner, really inexpensive given the size of the space. And so we jumped on it. And, without realizing it, it was the beginning of the gentrification of this neighborhood. And we were among the first wave. To some extent, I never thought I would miss the punks. But yeah, I miss them. There was a color and there was a genuineness to them. That was really lovely. What I don't miss are the drug dealers that used to hang out in front of my house. Now, they were cool. You would say to them, listen, there's a kid lives upstairs. Would you mind going someplace? And they'd go, oh, yeah, man, I'm sorry. I'm out of here. And they would go. So I don't mind them, and I don't mind that I can now walk down 10th Street without having to worry about somebody trying to give me heroin. But, places like this still exist, like Veselka's is still here. It's really maintained, it's kept itself. It hasn't changed its character, the food hasn't changed, the kind of people that come in hasn't changed. This is the kind of place that somehow or other has been able to maintain itself.
You've gone and left me alone Now there's space for someone new, and I do